Hello everybody, and I hope you're having a lovely day. I wanted to talk about these items today. I wanted to also note that it's a little bit windy today, so you may hear a few wind chimes in the background and some wind noise. So I'm hoping it's more charming than it is annoying. But on to the items here. These are camera flashes, and these are some of the flashes I use. I'm a photographer, and I thought I would show off these. There's an AD200 Pro, and then an AD200 regular, an AD200 Mark II. And I'll probably just show off the Mark II because they're very similar in look and what they have on them. And this video is just kind of more of a relaxing video to just show something and to do some ASMR content. So I won't really be showing a lot of how they work. I have another channel for that. But I can show the Mark II, and I think that will be just fine for showing off a cool little thing. So these are lights. Like I said, they fire off and do a little strobe blast like normal flashes do. These are very small and lightweight when compared to other flashes. I'm a type of person who doesn't like to peel off the plastics. I try to keep them on as long as I can. This one is probably good. I'm guessing it will stay on for a while. This one here is about ready to come off, but I don't think I'm ready to take it off just yet. I might try and tape on this side here so that it stays on, or I could just get a screen protector. Only time will tell. So on the back of these there is a couple of buttons and a rotating wheel. So, and to turn them on, you do push this button and then you will rotate the wheel. You gotta push it maybe a little longer than a standard button press. And then you can turn it on. And there's some lights on the side and a menu and all the buttons you can control this thing with. There's a light for a button for a light on the front where you can hold it and turn it on. Probably see that light up maybe. But there's a few cool features of this light. The Mark I version that I just showed does not have this type of LCD display, so I do like it. It's made of plastic. You can rotate through the menu functions with the wheel, and then you can use the set button to go in and change different things. The wheel isn't overly satisfying to use, but it works really well for the light that it is. And it's a very inexpensive light. Let me turn this light off and push some of the buttons again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons and a scroll wheel. You have a thread on the back side, 2 anti-twist notches as well, so when you put it on a stand, it doesn't twist around when you move it. And same thing back here on the bottom. You have 1/4 20 thread and twist. Then you have a couple of areas on the side that these are little levers. So if you push this one, you can slide the battery out. It's just a small little lithium-ion battery. Sorry for the focus, I don't think this camera focuses that close. But there's a area for the battery, and you can slide it back in, press it down. Usually it'll click, but it's a loud click, so for this video I'm just going to push it in gently and let it settle there. There is an area here for some attachments, but it's kind of difficult to pry out sometimes. Today wasn't too bad. And there's some slots there that you can add a battery to or a cable to. See if we can place that all the way back down. Now that's flush with the camera body, or the flash body rather. This flash, the reason I like this design of flash is there are these heads that you can use this other lever and remove. There is some areas with a pin here, and then you can use this with other heads. So right here is what we call a bare bulb head. Obviously it's not a bare bulb, you have a glass area around. This swirly thing is the actual flash tube, and this will emit the light when it flashes, and there's this glass area around it, so it protects the tube. You generally don't want to touch the tube itself because the oils on your hands can stay on the tube, and the tube gets very hot. It is only for a very short duration of time, so I don't personally think it matters as much today as it used to back in the old days where you were using these 4 constant lights and the oil would actually heat up. Nowadays they don't heat up, they just burst quickly, or they fire quickly. Hopefully that all makes sense. But they still give you a glass area around here that uses for protection. But they still give you a glass protective area here. Around the outside of this are LEDs for what is known as a modeling light. And what that does is it allows a light to turn on as a constant light, so you can see what the image or what the item you're taking a photo of will look like, roughly, before the brighter flash fires. So you can see sort of how it looks turn the light on by pressing and holding this. We'll press and hold the modeling light button, and it's pretty bright, but you can see the ring of LEDs that are on this light. Some people try to use it for video, but it is not the greatest of lights for video. It's more for a reference to see how your photos will look once this is flashed. Kind of already repeated myself, but there you are. This other head here has 2 rows of LEDs. Move this out of the way for just 1 second. Try not to be too loud as I put it on the hardwood table. But this one has under here, this is called a Fresnel lens. Some people pronounce it Fresnel because there's a silent S. I've also heard it pronounced Fresnel. So there's a couple schools of thought on how to pronounce the lens name, but I always call it a Fresnel lens. Inside here, which you can't see, is another flash tube. There's a little coil, kind of like a spring, and that's underneath this, what's called a lens, and the lens is made so that these lines focus the light forward and gives you a little more focused, brighter area in the center, whereas this other one allows all the light to go all around in like a hemispherical type pattern. So this has these LEDs here. They're roughly as bright as the other ones. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 LED lights. Let's see how many are on this other one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 as well. So they should be equally as bright as the other. We'll place this onto the head. A little bit of a loud click, and then we will turn this light on, and you can see most of the headlights up, but there's the 2 little strips on the bottom and the top that show the lights. Another type of head is this round head, and this has magnets, which I'll talk about in a minute. This head goes on the top of here. There are some LED lights in here, but there's only a few, I believe, along the bottom. I'll have to turn this on and see. There is a ring in here for the flash tube, and there are magnets around the outside. That allows you to clip on various lighting modifiers. This one in my left hand is called a grid, and this will take the light and focus it more forward so that it doesn't spill off to the side as much. You also have a diffuser, which will take the light and actually kind of diffuse it out and around. So it's almost the opposite of a grid. And you can magnetize these two together, which you really wouldn't use a diffuser and a grid together often, but you can. These will magnetize onto the front of the head. Let's actually go try and turn it on really fast. So when you turn this one on, there is an LED. It's actually directly in the center of the circle, which is very hard to see on camera. But in the room I can see that there is an LED directly in the center of the circle. So then you can place these items on here. This last one here, well, there's one more beyond this one actually. Let me show you that first. I'll turn off this light real quick so that it doesn't overexpose. This one here is a clear magnetic frame, really. And there's these slots here with an extra piece of glass. And what you can do is take these things called gels, which are basically colored cellophane, and they'll change the light's color. And you place a circle in here. They make pre-cut out ones. And you can place them in here, or you could cut out your own. And then you just sandwich this piece of glass in here and rotate it a little bit so it locks it in. And then you have a filter that has whatever color you put on it. You can also cut out pieces of paper and make a smaller circle if you want it to be some sort of other effect. So there's this, which you can add to the stack. And then last is this diffuser dome. And what this does is sort of take the light and allow it to be a hemispherical pattern, similar to the bare bulb head, so it allows light to go all the way around rather than just straight forward. It is very handy to have when you are shooting and you're out on set. So this is sort of a look at this 8200 series light in a relaxing way. Hopefully this was very relaxing to you. I'd be curious to hear any thoughts or comments on things that I could change or things that you liked or disliked. And hopefully the wind and airplanes weren't too much of a bother. Hopefully this was pretty relaxing.